let's look at an example showing the basic differences between simple and compound interest. Alright, I think I could jack this up a bit and this up a bit to make some space under here. Alright, now example. Let us say for the simple interest example, you invest say $100,000. You invest $100,000 for 3 years, and the bank says we'll give you 10% per annum. So 10% per annum simple interest. Alright, I use PA for per annum and SI for simple interests. So let me draw this out a bit. Alright, so let's see what happens. Let's say you start at the start. You open the account with $100,000. You open an account with $100,000. They're not going to give you any interest until the end of the year. Let's say this is this. You start January 1 of year 1. Let's say this is January 1 of year 1. Good. Now, this money, you don't touch it. You don't do anything to it. What happens here is that at the end of that period of time, December, let's get rid of this start business. December 31 of year 1, what happens? You are paid interest at December, at the end of that year, end of year 1. You get an interest of what? How much interest do you get? %10 per annum simple interest. Let's see how much interest you get. You get 10 per cent, 10 out of cent of $100,000. In that case, 100 into 100 goes one time, 100 into 100,000 goes 1,000 times. 10 multiplied by 1,000 is 10,000. It works out to be 1/10 of your money. So you get 1/10 of your money. So you get an interest of 1/10 of your money, which is $10,000. Alright, so January 1 you start, you put in $100,000. December 31 you get you get $10,000. Now this $10,000, they write you a check or they send it to some other account as you instruct them, of course. Now January 1 of year 2, new year, what happens? January 1 of year 2, what happened? You have the same $100,000. Remember, neither you nor the bank is supposed to touch that money. You're not supposed to touch that money. The bank is not supposed to touch that money. It is the same $100,000. Now, December 31 of year 2, you get interest. You get interest of how much? How much interest do you get? It's going to be the same amount. You get interest of $10,000. If you do the calculation again, you get the same $10,000. That $10,000 goes out to you either by a check for you to cash somewhere else, or they pay it into some other account. Alright? Now, that's what happened in year 2. Year 2 ends. What is it that's going to happen in year 3? Start of year 3, January 1 of year 3, right? Remember, the $100,000 remains the same. It is a fixed deposit. The amount of money in it is fixed. So of course, the interest that you get, the money you get as interest, is also fixed. So you get the same 100,000. You have the same $100,000 into the account. The same $100,000. All right. Now, December 31 of year 3. What happens? You get interest. Of how much interest do you get now? If you actually do the calculation, you'll find that you get interest of $10,000. Same $10,000 as usual. They give you that money by writing you a check for you to carry and then cash elsewhere. You could take it to your participating store or to another bank, or ask them to just encash it, whatever you want to do with it, or they pay it out to some other account. Alright, that is simple interest. Same old money, same old $100,000. Alright, in fact, you could say S for simple interest, S for the same old money. Now, how much interest did you earn throughout the time? Let's see if we can calculate that. Total interest is $10,000 plus $10,000 plus $10,000 is what? You will find that it is a total of $30,000. Good. $30,000. And the amount of money you have, amount made over the period of time, is $30,000 plus your $100,000. So you can say you have your $130,000 if you had been putting it somewhere and you're ready to take it all. You withdraw your $100,000 and then your $30,000, and you say, you have your $130,000. Good. So That's a case of dealing with simple interest. Now let's look over here and see what's going to happen. Compound interest. Let me copy and paste this and make a slight difference in it. You invest $100,000 for 3 years at 10% per annum. CI this time, compound interest. Let's see what happens when you deal with compound interest. January 1 of year 1. I could copy this, copy and paste it and see how we can make changes to it. January 1 of year 1, you put in $100,000 into your account. December 31 of year 1, you get interest of $10,000. Nice. But what happened? After that, they take the $10,000 and put it in to the money. Alright? To get a new money. New money equals $100,000 plus $10,000 gives you $110,000. Alright. Now, January 1 of year 2, what happened? January 1 of year 2, you have $110,000. Good. You have $110,000. Now, the end of year 2, say December 31 of year 2. What's going to happen is that you get an interest of 10% of $110,000. What is 10% of $110,000? If you calculate it right, you would get $11,000. $11,000. That's what you get. Alright? At the end of that year. Then, how much money do you now have? When they give you interest of when they give you interest of $11,000 and you had $110,000, you now have 110,000 plus 11,000, and that gives you $121,000. So you now have $121,000. All right, you now have $121,000. So that happens at the end of year 2. Let's see what's going to happen at the start of year 3 now. January 1 of year 3. What do you have? You have $121,000, right? Because remember, they went into your account at the end of year 1, and the $10,000 you got, they add it to your $100,000 to get $110,000. Then that $110,000, that new money, is what they use to calculate the new interest. So you get $11,000 at the end of year 2. They take that $11,000, they go into your account and add that $11,000 to the $110,000 to give you $121,000. Now, start of year 3, January 1 of year 3, you have your $121,000. Right? Now, you go through the year. December 31 of year 3. What happens? You get interest off. How much interest do you get now? Let's see if we can calculate it. You have, well, you calculate it for me. You have $121,000 and they give you 10% per annum. How much interest do you get? Alright, if you said $12,100, then you'd be right. 1/10 of $121,000 you get. Alright? Now, they go into your account and add it. How much do you have? How much money do you now have? What you have now is the $121,000 plus the $12,100. You have 0, 0, 1 and 0, 1, 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. So that is what you now have. That money is what you now have. You now have $133,100. Alright. So that's what happened with compound interest. Here, you or the bank can go in and disturb the money any number of time you want, anytime you want. Alright? No, it's not a fixed deposit. It's not fixed. But in this example, you did not interfere with the money. You just left it there. It's the bank alone that interfered with the money. You only come in at the end of the 3rd year and look at what you have. Now notice the total interest you earned. The total interest earned is how much? Total interest earned is, how much was it? $33,100. Alright, now compare it with the total interest earned from simple interest. It's a bit more. So compound interest actually grows faster than simple interest. Alright, with simple interest, after 3 years, 10%, you have $30,000. You get $30,000 interest. With compound interest, it is $33,100. So you got $3,100 more. So that's basically the main difference between simple interest and compound interest. Simple interest, the deposit you made is fixed. It's called a fixed deposit account. The bank doesn't touch that money. You don't touch that money. Over the period for which you invest, it remains fixed. The interest you get is sent elsewhere to some other account or by a check to you. With compound interest, when you get your interest, the bank goes into your account and add the interest to what you had in there. right? You can go in and withdraw or add money anytime you want, any number of times you want. So these are the main differences between simple and compound interest, using an example, or using this particular example. Alright, so we will look at a few more examples at a later date, and we'll do that in a different video.